I never get sick of that intro song. I just love it. If you love that intro song, hashtag intro song, comment hashtag intro song. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka, and I'll be your host. So, The Price of Fame is a podcast that focuses on the real story about the journey to success, from the moment and realization of one's gift or purpose. And in these conversations, we aim to share the light on the hardships, the sacrifices, and the mindset our guests have to overcome to achieve their current position in their career. And these are their stories. Tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, has been in the modeling industry for over 10 years. He's South Africa's first international male model with albinism, hashtag trailblazer. He's a speaker, a writer, an activist, and an actor. And ladies and gentlemen, known by his fans as the Ice Prince. But wait, there's more. He's also the founder of the Rolled Eyes Outreach project and also a partner in the Dutch NGO called Inside the Same. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the screen. His name is Sanele Xaba.
Yo, what an intro. What an intro. Thank you so much, Lunga.
Awesome, bro.
Yep,
how are you doing?
Amigos?
I said, how are you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm doing real well. I'm doing really, really well. It's amazing Tuesday, sunny here in Cape Town. yeah, so can't complain. Doing really well.
Awesome stuff, man. Hey, like this has been a crazy year, you know. It's kind of been like good and kind of bad, you know. There's a lot of challenges that we are still facing and a lot of challenges that we've been carrying on from last year as well into this year, you know. But I think also there's been also kind of like a flip side to it all, you know. There's also been a lot of opportunities and people started creating new things, you know, and started just making things work out for themselves. For you, my man, how has 2021 been so far?
It's been a big learning experience, hey. There's like, it's a new normal, so a lot has changed. You know, if you told me in 2019 that we'll be doing Zooms, we'll be doing all this stuff, I would have told you, nah, you're fibbing. But it's been very interesting. Lots of ups and downs, lots of realizations. You know, mentally, physically. It's, you know, I went through a hectic depression phase last year, just with like the whole uncertainty. My anxiety was, you know, off the charts. And I have ADHD, so like, you know, mentally it was draining. But you know, I guess with the, you know, dark days don't last forever, but you know, you always come through. But it's been an interesting learning experience.
I can imagine, my man, because I mean, like this, no one was ready for this, you know, and I just took a. I mean, even those who were like we consider to be strong, you know, always just face challenges and be like, yeah, you know, we'll make it through this, you know. This was like very much uncertain, you know, and just not knowing what it's going to do, you know.
What's
and even
happening
though
tomorrow?
oh, you try to be strong, you be like, you know, I'm just gonna keep grinding. You can't even grind, you know. So like there's nobody to be with yourself,
Yeah.
you know, within, you know. And I guess that gave us a lot of opportunity to actually re-evaluate what's important, you know, and re-look at the things that we value and even the people that we value in our lives, you know. So for you, have you gone through any transformation because of that?
Yeah, I mean, I've lost a lot of like childhood friends to COVID. So it's been very, excuse me, it's been very, yeah, it's been, you actually appreciate life more. Another day is not really guaranteed. So I guess, you know, we always say, oh, I'll see you tomorrow, I'll see you next week, you know, and you know, this could be your last couple of hours left, you know. So I mean, one thing I've realized is to always, you know, I think before COVID, I was stuck in the rat race. I was in that rat race phase where, you know, it's all about getting the next check, the next job, being able to focus on this and that. And, you know, I didn't really enjoy celebrating, or like enjoy just just having fun. So I guess I've learned to celebrate more and to celebrate life more, love more, spend time with family, have fun with my friends, because yeah, I think it's just made me really appreciate life and appreciate another waking up. That's just a blessing in itself. But it's the modeling industry has transformed also. It's a whole different ball game. So we've had to diversify also, and just like as a creative, we've had to think, rethink on how we can monetize on our creativity, and so for us to stay afloat, because yeah, I think everyone knows how this time has been on all creatives. And yeah, so we've had to really relearn a lot of things, and yeah, learn to just evolve. So I think from all of this, I just learned to also just take this whole pandemic and find the positiveness in it. So yeah, but I found a lot of positiveness, learned a lot in this pandemic. Found love in old. I started painting again. It was one of my hobbies to paint as a kid, so I got back into that. I realized how therapeutic it is for me. It's yeah, it's been an there's a lot of bad, but also a lot of good that I've learned from this.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's very interesting to know that that you actually went back into some of the things and you found like, hey man, I'm actually good at this, and this actually
Yeah.
so it means so much to me now, in this time, and even as an adult, just going back to the
Mm.
whole painting thing and remembering what it did for you and what it does for you now. That's awesome. Have you got any of your paintings online, or like maybe
Oh,
posted
no,
them
no,
maybe?
no. This is just for I have ADHD and anxiety, and usually when I was at high school, I used to paint as a way, just to calm my mind. And I think as I grew older, I grew out of it. And yeah, I think during the pandemic, I was like, I think it was for a campaign for an Bombay Sapphire, and it was to inspire people to to create again. And I think
Yeah.
they were like, "Hey, do you know how to paint?" I was like, "Actually, yeah, I do know how to paint. I'm gonna get into that again." So and then I realized, why I actually enjoy paint, why I enjoyed painting, and I think growing older and growing older, evolving, you kind of lose track of things that you used to like doing. Because I mean, yeah, there was I was like, damn, I missed this. I missed doing this. I missed just
Yeah.
zoning out, playing some old school hip hop and just getting into the zone. And
Yeah.
yeah, so, but yeah, it's been one
It
of the
reminds
things that I like.
myself was I used to do a lot of sketching when I was a kid. I used to sketch
Uh-huh.
animals, sketch people, and that. And then like as I grew, I just like I just let it go. But like
Yeah, you find other talents. I mean, it's not nothing really. It's not nothing really bad. I mean, you just discover your other talents that you have, other interests. You develop other interests, which is, I guess, as part of this life journey, for you to learn, relearn. Yeah. So, but it's kind of interesting just to go to. But are you still sketching now? I hope you're
no,
still.
I haven't picked up the sketch pad in a while, but I do plan on picking it up again, like you. Like I want to do some painting, but it's just going to be personal, like in my own place. I'm
Yeah.
just going to do my stuff, get canvases, and just I've always told myself I will pick it up again because I don't want to let it go because I was really good at it. So
Yeah.
something that I want to pick up again. It's not that I don't have time for it. I'm not making time for it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah, but
I respect artists and painters. The it's a lot. You invest a lot of yourself in that, your emotions, all in that. So I'm just like, what? I'm gonna do my little paintings in the in my room, and and enjoy it myself, and then and my friends come over, they can enjoy it with me, and they can, you know, hop on board, get a canvas, let's, you know, make art, let's do all our stress here. But nah, I'm good with the whole selling my art. Nah, 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 nah. I'll let the pros do with that.
Yeah, no, look, same, yeah. It's just for personal pleasure. Like you say, it's for you,
Yeah.
it's releasing all of that anxiety and the
Mm.
stress you kind of go through, you know, it's the way that you channel it rather through art, you know, and it actually calms you, gives you the completely opposite effect, you know. So for me also is the same thing. And I didn't really enjoy when people were like, draw this for me or draw that for me, you know, because I
Yeah,
always wanted
right. It
when I
kind of
had the
controls your creative process.
yeah. So I want to always
Mm.
sketch when I have the feeling, you know, when I feel inspired, I'll sketch. Don't tell me to sketch because I'm never impressed with it. And you know, I'm always like, I want to tear it up and throw it away. So I always only appreciate it when I like feel it, you know. So I didn't like the fact that's why I told myself I probably wouldn't do it as a job because I wouldn't want to feel that I have to do it, you know. I always want to do it when I'm
Exactly. And imagine now you have like a whole exhibition that you need to prepare for, and you have to you know, come up with 20 pieces. I'm just like, damn. I'll probably have like a blockage, and I'll just get stressed even more. So I don't like being stressed.
yeah, because I mean that's exactly the thing. Because then I started to realize the thing that is bringing me joy is now starting to stress me out. That's why I'm like, no,
Exactly. Then
people
you lose the love for it. You just lose the love for it. Yeah.
because I mean, because like you're saying, you put your heart and soul in it, and you want it to be good. You know, we are perfectionists to ourselves when we're doing these things.
Exactly.
So like, I find myself more disappointed in those times when I'm forced to do it, as opposed
Yeah.
to being like pleased with the work of art that I just created. You know, and some people will be like, "Oh no, it's cool, man," but you know, like, nah, I didn't feel this one, but I had to do it.
I'm not feeling it exactly. I think a lot of artists have that love-hate relationship with their paintings and their body of works, and they're like, one week they're feeling this piece, and then the other week they realize, oh, this one's actually really amazing. I've worked with quite a few photographers who have exhibited like work and stuff. So they would like send me a text, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm actually really loving this piece that we did. I'm just like, oh, wasn't this just like a, you know, an art, just a piece of artwork. So but I know how they just change, and they find a love for a specific piece, and then the next time they hate it, maybe we could have done this or that or this. I'm like, dude, it's done, it's done.
Yeah, that's the thing about art. Don't judge it, just accept. You know,
Yeah.
it's either feeling it or not, but don't change it or whatever. You know, art is beautiful when it's raw. But interesting, you know, starting out with the whole painting and the art touch to it, but then you decided instead of creating masterpiece, you're gonna become a masterpiece yourself. So, I
That's not
mean,
really
like,
the case.
I mean, when did it start? I mean, how did it all start for you becoming a model, you know?
Well, this wasn't like I guess a career path for me that I actually desired. I was a KZN swimmer in my teen years. My dream. Well, I was just enjoying swimming. I enjoyed swimming. I used to swim, you know, at the school aquatics. So that was my goal. I think how modeling came into the mix. I was I was walking with a couple of friends of mine after writing an exam. I think it was like accounting or something, and we were walking. I'm from Durban, so we were walking down Morningside after an exam. You know, I think that's when Dunked Wings. No, no, when Wings just came out, and we were just like, you know, get you a ice cream cone and wings. We were just strolling down, and then my agent at that time was having coffee at a restaurant outside, and then he just stopped me, and he's like, "Hey, can I please speak to you?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool, sure." And then he's like, "Yeah, listen, I really, you have a really amazing look. Mind you, I have horrible acne at this time. I'm going through puberty, and I have acne. Like, I'm going through it. I'm going through. I was like, what the hell? What are you talking about? That, you know, I have an amazing look.
Yeah.
Like, can you not see? Yeah, I'm on raw acne tan and stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, we can can do so well in modeling. Like there's a Durban July coming up in the next month. Yeah, it was a month. It's like next month you have the right look for one of my one of my clients, designers. He would love for you to work for him, and I'm just like, and I was like, yeah. And then you asked if I have Facebook. Mind you, Facebook was very new around this time. It was like 2011, 2011.
Yeah.
And yeah, so right after the World Cup. It was right after the World Cup. And then he was like, asked me for my Facebook account. Then I used to go, so at school they used to call me the day walker, because there was also a time when Kevin Noah came up with that day walker
Yeah.
piece. And then so everyone, so I think I just was, so people don't bully me with that name. I just kind of rolled with it, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, fine, I'm cool. So I was like, okay, I'll just be the Daywalker. So my Facebook name when I got on Facebook was Daywalker DW, and so and yeah, so I told him about my name, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's really, but I was gonna like ignore him on Facebook. So yeah, he took my Facebook name, and then I got home, and then he sent me like a whole long paragraph explaining about me the money, and he had me at the money. I was like, I saw the whole thing with the Durban July, and here at the money, and I was like, you know what? I'm a teenager. I want to get a BlackBerry. And that time, if you had a BlackBerry curve, you were on it, and my mom was not going to give me the curve. So that money was exactly the amount that I wanted for that BlackBerry curve, so I can also shine like the other kids. And yeah, so I was like, let me just do this thing. Like the guy says that, you know, I mean, I don't care what people are going to say about me, but I will get my money at the end of the day. So yeah, I got into it. I did the Durban July. And then I think I worked for like six designers on on that day. Got paid like after the show. It was very immediate. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm done with this thing. Okay, no one's gonna know about it, you know, and you know, no one's gonna laugh at me in school saying that I'm a model now, all of that stuff. And I think on Monday, after school, got me my BlackBerry curve, and you know, installed everything, and I get a message from my A1 then agent, and he tells me that we would like the one of the designers would like to book you for his campaign, his winter campaign. This will be at the store, and this will be at his store at Gateway, which is like basically our Durban's Canal Walk. And so yeah, and I was like, what? That's crazy. And I shot my first campaign. And yeah, that's how I got into it. I think then I really just got into it just for the money. But I think I think I was already 11, I had to choose between swimming and modeling, because I had to obviously make sure that I bring back good grades at home. So yeah, I just remembered modeling because I mean there's money in modeling, so that there wasn't any money in swimming. So I went continue with modeling. And yeah, I think obviously there's a lot of things that I didn't agree with in the industry at that time, because the industry has changed drastically from when I started. So there are a lot of things that I wanted that I didn't agree with, and I felt like if I'm going to do this, if it's going to be paying money for, if it's going to be, you know, if I'm going to be making money out of this, I rather you know, play this, you know, this game by my rules and not by the industry rules. So we're gonna change some narratives up in here, and you know, and I'm going to, you know, force feed this onto them. And yeah, and that's how I got into it. I decided to use modeling as a platform to do to kind of teach people about albinism. And you know, it was I felt like I have more ears and more eyes, and a lot of people are going to be listening to me because I have this platform, instead of me being probably like a doctor or something. I didn't feel like I would have a lot of ears and people wouldn't really listen to me. But if I'm more of in a public space, I would have a thing. So that's how I got into modeling.
That's so dope. And you are so lucky. It's not even fair. It's not even fair. I'm gonna tell you why. tell you
Hey,
why I
I
say
knew
that.
the BlackBerry. I knew the BlackBerry curve so bad. You know, all those kids were they had BIS and they were downloading all those mixtapes. You know that time you had to get that Lil Wayne mixtape, Nicki
Yeah.
Drake mixtape, and I couldn't be buying data every other day and getting memory cards. So I was like, I need this BlackBerry too.
Dude, like I remember walking into my first agency. My first
Uh-huh.
agent. Like, I was looking for a different agent, but me not knowing anything, someone just gave me a street and said, "Go to town and look in this place, whatever." And I walk in and I see the sign that says model. Don't want to finish it because it gives away the name, but it says model. And then I walk in there, and then I'm like, I don't know if I'm at the right place or whatever, but someone recommended me to come to town and look for an agency, blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of interested in doing this kind of thing. I don't know what you guys think. And they're like, well, you have the height. I mean, you got the looks and that kind of thing. It could possibly work. And then they told me how it works, you know, so you get your stills, you get your castings, I mean, you get your ads and blah, 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 and everything. And then I was like, okay. And then they sent me like to my first casting. And then my first casting, I was like, wow, everyone is taller than me. Everyone looks way better than me. Everyone looks I was insecure immediately, bro. And like, I was like, no, 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 no. It took me, and I even stayed away from some castings, you know. But like from the castings, and then my next step, extra on like an ad or something like that, you know. So I was like, okay, this is what the industry feels like, you know. And then from the extra, you know, got to be a featured extra. So I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then I did some skits where I got to play roles and got to speak. So I was like, wow, this is interesting, you know. And I've done some ads of my own, and I was like, wow, this is cool. But you, my man, you were just walking by, minding your own business, and they were like, hey, man,
listen, I wanted to be Chad Leclerc, and at that time, Chad Leclerc was still in school, and everyone who was, you know, swimming in Durban, wanted to beat him so they can, you know. So that was my situation at that time. I didn't care about modeling. I'm just, you know, my goal was to be the quickest swimmer around. You know, but you know, I wouldn't change the journey and experience for anything. I think I also felt what those casting blues, I know them very well, especially when I moved to Johannesburg, because I didn't really do a lot of castings when I was in Durban. There was more or less direct bookings because I had to, I had school. So I couldn't really. I mean, I did. If my mom is watching this, I'm pretty sorry, but I did back school to shoot some campaigns, and well, I did. I did, but you had to be very strategic about it. You had to be very strategic to go on days where you know that all those hard subjects like accounting, maths, and all of it, they're not on the table today. So kids, if you're watching this, don't do this. But yeah, but it was, I had to. It was a bit of a gamble, but it was it was an amazing experience just to dabble in this and that. But I think the insecurities that came with and I think when I started, I was very skinny. I was teenage skinny. Actually, I said at size 28, and and I would go to castings and I would see these buff guys with the pecs or six packs and models who have traveled, who came from like the States, and I'm like, damn, they came for Fashion Week, and I'm just like a schoolboy. I just finished school. I smell like Tipex and erasers and like textbooks, So I'm running straight to change in the bathroom from my uniform to rock up, to wear skinny pants and to look, and and I'll get insecure too, and I'm just like, damn, what the hell? And at that time, there wasn't a lot of there wasn't any. It wasn't really diverse. It was literally black and white. There was no in between. There was no showcasing how unique and different we all are. There wasn't any of that at that time. It was just like, hey, the diversity points are like, you're either black or you're either white. and
Yeah.
that's it. And now I got into the mix, and everyone was just asking me, I was like, oh wow, damn, well, you must be booking a lot of like those art things, like those art, like, and that was the case at that time. And I went like, that was like my intro to like the fashion industry. I was just booking all the art stuff. I was booking like,
Yeah.
but they were paying, but it was a niche market. It
Yeah.
was like certain clients. But I think as I went to varsity and um, after I matriculated and I went to Johannesburg, I kind of realized this. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was more about I'm actually realizing how society is grouping me. I felt like I was being grouped into this
Yeah.
is how I remember there was a brief sent out for I'm not going to say the brand name, but it was an alcohol beverage. And yeah, first of all, I know, if I went on, I know, because you need to be 25 to do an alcohol commercial in South Africa. But I got the brief in any case, and and obviously they said suddenly you can't go to this casting because I was like, why? Because it says they want a black male, and they said, oh no, you fit under sporadic. I was like, what the hell is sporadic? Because when I have to go to home affairs or anything, I have to tick black. I don't have to tick sporadic or anything. So I don't understand who is a black man to you, and that's when I realized. So you telling me that these casting directors and people who make these final decisions are saying that there's black comes in this specific queue, because I'm just like, I'm a black man too. I don't have any white privileges at all. So I'm just like, so I don't understand how I cannot cast for this. But obviously, I kind of took it up with my agency, and um, thank goodness I had an agent that actually understood. And she's like, you know what, you should actually vocalize this. You should actually, do this, because I agree with you. And at that time, the industry had this thing of grouping people who were mixed as mulatto, and that's a derogatory term also. And I think people spoke up about that, and now that was taken away. And
Yeah.
then that was taken away, and then there was a sporadic thing also. I'm just like, I was like, you dare cast me for put me at this bracket of sporadic. I'm not gonna do that. So I think I started like vocalizing it more and kind of talking more to the casting directors, and people were just like, oh damn, well, okay, well, we apologize for that. And obviously it was just one, two. There was like a lot of clients that still had that way of thinking. And
Yeah.
I think then as people started like expressing diversity in the industry, and everyone started talking about it and started saying how there's a need for it, especially in South Africa, because Europe was on board with the whole thing, and South Africa was still we were still just like kind of following and not kind of leading. So I
Yeah.
think South Africa industry here was pretty scared about setting, which I still feel like we're a bit backwards. We are moving a bit forward, but yeah, it's been a when you just think of it, it's been kind of interesting, an interesting number of years.
The thing is, I was just about to ask you about the whole casting thing, when you receive your briefs. Because like I know you're the first to actually break out in the industry and to be like, yo, and I'm an albino, with the albinos and that kind of
That's
thing. Like,
another thing. We'll get into
so
that too.
yeah, how
So
was
it was
what brief
so
did you have? Because
the word albino is actually a derogatory term.
oh,
To
please,
yeah,
apologies.
it's I have a it's albinism is a skin condition. I'm a black
Yeah,
man that has albinism. So this is literally like someone has an albinism, and vitiligo is almost, it's a skin condition. It's in the same bracket. It's literally, it's literally it's the same thing. So, with me, I have albinism, and it's a skin condition. I'm a black man that has albinism. I can't be an albino, because now, that's not a race. I'm not a, it's not a specific, and that's
ah,
when I started in the industry. I think people were writing articles on newspapers and saying stuff like, "Oh, South Africa's first albino male model," I'm like, not the one. What is this? And I think like I grew up being taught that that you're a black man. Like I grew up to, and I was no way that I was going to be labeled as that in the industry, and I and I kind of fought, but I remember a magazine. Well, they were writing good stuff about me, but I just didn't like how I was being referred, and I still feel that by people calling people with albinism as albinos, this still perpetuates a lot of the stigmatism and a lot of the myths that people have about people with albinism. Because now you still use people will think that, okay, cool, they're albinos, like as if it's a spaceship that came and dropped a bunch of
Yeah.
people with this, So I think that's the whole like the one of the many reasons why I got into modeling was, well, I kind of continue with the modeling because I felt like that's really important. And at that time, there were a lot of like gruesome killings, people with albinism in Tanzania, and it was actually starting in like Limpopo and Mpumalanga, and so I thought that was very important. And before me, like Refilio Modestele was also on the same situation. Like she also, and she's like the first like she's the first like model with albinism in South Africa that actually kind of got in there like in the early 2000s, and and I feel like it was just like me, and it was when I actually told and expressed to her, I was just like, I don't know how like media is, people are not doing their research because the information is out there about albinism.
Yeah.
It's out there, and I felt like, you know what, this is like a perfect platform, to vocalize and educate users as an educational. So I think like, and that was the thing. I felt that you are going to know that my skin color is a hue of black. Black comes in your darkest shade, and I'm the lightest shade of black. So we're gonna get with this. We're gonna get with this. And I felt like by doing that, and my agency, they literally understood. They understood the assignment. They sent me to all of the black castings at that time, and I would go there, and they asked me, "What am I doing?" I was like, "I'm black."
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Sanele Xaba. I'm Sanele Xaba. Yes, I'm black. So and I think by doing that, and like it kind of became repetition, and I just started. And my goal was not to be placed to put under this niche fashion or art brackets. It was more just like getting into commercials and also just kind of breaking all these stigmas of what people think how the black man should look. And I
Yeah.
thought that was very important, that I do that. And yeah, I think, and that's mainly a lot of the mainly what I actually speak about is to change people's perception of how a black man looks. I think when everyone thinks about a black man, they'll just think of someone who's just dark, and they have this specific look. And I feel that if we kind of have more conversations like this, and we speak more about it, and we just talk about it, I feel like it would change people's mindsets, and the like and I think as time goes by, people will have they will understand more, because there have been so many like myths, and I've heard too many like stories of what people think albinism is, dating back to the slave days in America. So you can just like imagine how someone who's black would get treated as a slave in the States. So I'm just like, I did a lot of research about just so I kind of have back knowledge when I
Oh,
speak to someone about it. And yeah, I think that is, it's still an ongoing thing. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that, now it's all roses and rainbows and stuff. Now
yeah.
I still have to fight. I still to fight my ways, but I think now it's it's now big guns. It's big guns now. And I feel like we are I guess now we are woke, so people are challenging like the previous generation we're challenging them to be more inclusive,
Yeah.
to exercise diversity. And I think as we're going about this, I think people are just, we're gonna get into the program and celebrate how black comes in in different hues and in different hues. So, but yeah, I that's
Like
the
my man, like you've meant. I know in the beginning you said like when you started in the industry, it was kind of different for you, and I feel like you were speaking about that, especially with being challenged with being who you are, and trying to fight for for the industry to accept you as a black man and see you also as a black man. Um, you being the first, and also I just want to apologize for my ignorance with the terminology and everything.
No,
Please.
it's not. You know what, my brother. I feel like if we don't talk about things like this, like there's no. And a lot of people, every time when I tell you, like, oh no, no, like no. Okay, the fact that we're having this conversation means that now I can go to bed, that someone now knows about. Okay, cool. That this is a derogatory term, like you now know. So it's like it's as long as we educate, and there are so many things that I learn about on a daily. Because if you stop learning, you might as well just go. Your assignment is done here on this earth. So
Yeah.
we're constantly learning
Let me
every day. So there's no need to apologize.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that. Thank you, man. I just didn't want to offend you, but I'm
Nah.
actually now.
Now
And
it's
let's
when you say no, I feel no. I am saying that you are this. Then I must have. Oh, okay,
oh
okay.
yeah.
Now you want to bring
Oh,
but you gave me
yeah,
your
no,
ear and you make me
it ain't
explain to
like
you the
that. It ain't like
situation.
that.
So that,
Like
yeah,
so
yeah.
with the industry, my man, you having to change a lot of things, and kind of like paving the way. And you said like it hasn't been all like rainbows and sunshines. Can you please describe some of those challenges that you had to face? I mean, for a lot of us who cannot relate, please educate us on some of the challenges, like what are the things that you had, what are the barriers that you had to break, and where did you have to stand for yourself? And when and what moment did you actually feel like, you know what, I actually want to turn this into a platform where I can speak more about, not be something that I'm just fighting. So please describe the challenges. What were you, because it was introduced to you for the first time. There was no one to actually tell you, yo, man, you're gonna face this or you're gonna face that, you're gonna face this. So please
Exactly.
describe what you went through and how did that make you transform into an activist?
It was for me. It's like I started off just recognizing all this stuff, and I felt like I don't know if I would. I felt like it was more fetishized. Like everyone would like in the industry would just like it was. I think it was more of like a trend. And there was like a trend, especially when I moved to Johannesburg. It was like a big doing, but it was only a trend and on the artsy level. And I felt like it was becoming a recurring thing, and I didn't want to be. I guess I felt like this doesn't have to be like something that's going to be on for like a season, and then I felt like it's kind of odd that I am the only male model with albinism that is doing this up, and I found like there's a whole lot of other models who are black, and they're different hue in the whole spectrum of black, and so and then obviously, and I'm like the only one. I think that needed to change. So by observing that, and go over the years, having I had a conversation with Refulia, because I felt that she's been in the entertainment, she's done talk shows, she did modeling. So I was like, you know what, I kind of raised this up with her, and I explained to her. I was like, I feel that this is kind of odd, that and then by speaking more about it, because a lot of the challenges that I faced personally from modeling is that I felt that it was I was kind of grouped into like this niche market. I felt like I was only limited to so much, and I felt that that shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case that when you're telling a story, selling a brand, doing whatever, and when you wanna appeal to a certain group of people, I felt that the society and media plays such a crucial part in educating people. And I felt that if you are going to be telling, when it comes to albinism, and you're going to be portraying people with albinism being, I mean, yeah, people with albinism are getting killed in rural parts of Africa. Excuse me. And yes, I understand that's the case, but that cannot be the only narrative that's being told about people with albinism. There are people with albinism who are doctors, who are criminals, who are lawyers, who are in parliament, who are in politics, who are doing so many other things. And I thought that when it comes to storytelling, and that's the only way that you can fit in someone with albinism, I thought that that needs to change, and that narrative needs to change. And I thought that by the only, I mean, I cannot do that by just like talking to my friends over a gin and tonic or whatever. I felt that I needed to use my platform and tell the people in the media that, listen, this is the case, and I feel that this should change. And I personally felt that that is the one of the many ways that we can educate people about albinism. And I thought that also just like education in where the killings are perpetuated or not, the information doesn't really get there. And I found like, I feel like in schools, all of this stuff is taught. And also we have a digital divide. So people do have access to research, and they will be able to watch news or whatever and read about stuff. But people, in the rural areas don't have access to this information and stuff. So I just felt like, what, by vocalizing this stuff, because I obviously by then I was still losing. I wasn't getting that amount of gigs and jobs. So there was more of a demand for me in Europe. So I had to leave South Africa for almost a year to work. And that's when I had to make the informed decision to leave SA, quit my job, and yeah, go work, because I felt that, I'm limited to so much in South Africa, and when I went to Europe, I think people that side understood more of what I want to do, and I think that's where it all started. I think that's where people started listening to me more back at home, and which I think is the case for a lot of people. I think every South African that goes abroad and kind of does what they have to do and come back home, and then like people realize, and that's like the shit there. But I think that's when I kind of had a bit more of a platform when I got back. People actually were like, okay, cool, okay, now we hear you, bro. So we did X and Y, and I think that's when I started booking more commercial stuff here. This side, like, okay, so a brother had to just leave the country for you guys to kind of get into the program. So yeah, it was more that. So it was. I decided to because it just kind of made more financial sense for me to go where I get more work in a different currency, so I can obviously come back. And I'm also realizing that I just quit my job, so I'm technically a freelancer right now. I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't have a Monday to Friday. I'm working every day, so I had to now go where the money's at. So yeah, so it was a lot of like getting a lot of no's. There were a lot of no's. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that it was amazing. There were like a lot of no's, and so does everyone have a lot of no's. And that was my way of thinking. I don't want to say, oh my gosh, no one's gonna like me because X, Y, and Z. They'll think that I'm different. So yeah, we just rolled. We just it was just a way. It was a way of just. It's how how you deal with those no's that actually really matter. And you just by persevering. For me, to be honest, that was the only way that I've found, me getting there.
Yeah. Listen, and as a black man with albinism, like with that whole crazy killings that was going around and all of that craziness, I mean, did you face any of those challenges? I mean, did you get any texts or
No,
threats or anything like that, or was that like completely not in your
I was
circle?
very, yeah, I was like in a I was very bubbled, sheltered, to be honest. Like I had, um, I went to, a school where I didn't have to go through all of that stuff. I mean, yes, I had my fair share of people bullying me, but I made a choice very early in my childhood that I will not go through any of that stuff. Um, I will not allow myself to be um, the face of bullying. So I stood up for myself from a very young age. When it comes to being victims of the killings or targeted, if I may say that, no, I think it's when I think in my teen years when I realized that this is actually happening, when it was brought to my attention as I grew older, because I had a very sheltered life. It was very sheltered, and I didn't really know all about it ever. And that's one of the reasons why I started working with inside the same was when I realized how severe it was. Because I kind of knew it with a pinch of salt, but kind of knew when I had a face-to-face experience with victims and people who've gone through all of this stuff, that's when I realized that it's very important for me to continue doing what I'm actually doing because yeah, no child deserves to not be able to go to school. People who are scared to go to school. So
Yeah.
the social economic issues are increasing in people are not able to go to school. They are unable. There's no education. Um, you know, there's not, and then there'll be a narrative of people who have albinism are stupid or dumb, or So it's and which obviously and parents are abandoning their children. So there were all of these things that kind of fueled me to focus a lot of on my activism work. And so yeah, I did like steer a little bit away from modeling. I think in my 23, 24, obviously still did it, but my main focus was a lot of on the activism work. And yeah, it was more of a just branching out and doing a lot of that because I realized how important it is to be vocal and to continue doing what I'm doing in my career. So yeah, but I haven't really experienced any of being targeted and stuff, but I've had face-to-face contact with people who have gone through all of that.
Yeah. And it's tough, man. Sorry. And in the household, because I mean, did you feel like you like modeling was new for you, and I'm sure it was probably new for everyone else in your household, you know? So like,
Of
and
course.
and yeah, you're fighting in the industry, you're trying to be seen, you're trying to like carve your own way and be like, yo, I'm over here, respect me, I do what they can do. Did you have to also fight at home and be like, mom, trust me? I mean, this is something real,
Yeah.
or the people, I mean, your
Mm.
family. Can you share some of those challenges that you kind of faced that you had to kind of like break the barriers at home as well?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a very conservative household. A lot of the stuff that we are doing, like as a creator, it was very, frowned upon. It wasn't like something that was, um, and also I understand we are kind of the generation that are, breaking the generational curses. We are the generation that is,
Yeah.
building generational wealth. So I understand where, our families come from, where they're coming from. So yeah, conservative family, they knew what I was doing, so it wasn't really, because it was TV or and stuff. So they, they knew, but I had an education. I passed. I furthered my studies. I had a job. So I think the biggest worry, I think the concerns for my mom was like, are you sure you want to, quit your job? Like, and it was an amazing package. I had a beautiful 9 to 5 package, the benefits at like 21 years old whilst I was still in varsity. So it was like all of that, and I decided just to drop everything, and decided to live the creative life and just be a nomad. um, Excuse me. And yeah, it was just like, so yeah, it was a lot of having to tell my mom about what I'm actually doing. um you know I had telling her like, this is the amount of money that I'm actually making from this, and this is what I'm doing for per campaign, and this is twice as much as I'll get in a normal 9 to 5. But then what if, like, is this like a recurring thing? It's like, no, but by God's faith. Yeah, yeah. So it was a lot of just like convincing, but luckily my mom is very supportive. She let me, do what I had to do. She had her own reservations about it, but yeah, she constantly like let me. I think she let me just do what I had to do, and just obviously knowing that I have family should everything should hit the fan or anything, I can always come back home. So I had that. And obviously expressed to my family how it is very important for us to not settle for mediocrity. And that was
Yeah,
one of my something that I learned from I kind of taught myself, and it's so important just to do stuff that make you happy. If you want to, my biggest dream was to travel. I felt that I literally felt that I don't come from a rich family, so I knew that like these things that I want to do, I want to be traveling over Europe. I want to go,
yeah,
to islands and stuff like this. I knew that that wasn't, attainable, especially now in my 20s. And I did not believe in doing that in my 60s, and when I'm retired to be and I was like, I want to do this in my 20s. I thought that that's how you learn and you grow, and I thought by doing that it changed my whole perspective of just life in general. So yeah,
yeah,
I just went through it. I just did what I had to do. But by having my family support, eventually at the end of the day, kind of meant the world to me. So yeah, it was good to have the families, but I understand why a lot of as black kids have a problem with our
yeah,
family accepting us, dabbling in the creative field. I understand. Um, we don't have the privilege of our counterparts who had 15-year head starts, 20-year head starts, and a grandmother's life insurance and generation. We don't have that. So it's very important, to be the doctor, to be the lawyer. And I was like, imagine doing something that I don't want to do for 25 odd years, and then I have to, hey, live for a Friday and dread Sundays to have a 2 week holiday in a year. I was like, that's not the
yeah,
life. That's not the life for me. So yeah, I just did what I had to do, and I was like, if I fail, one thing I know is that I can always start again. And I think that's just the thing about life. That's the whole point of it. I feel like if you are able to do it, if you are able to travel and to make those mistakes, and if you have like a good support structure, do it by all means. And I understand why people can't do it also, because you don't have time or the money to play around and stuff. It is a big gamble, and it was a big gamble for me too. But yeah, it's something that I wouldn't change.
yeah. Bro, Sanele, we're running out of time. We're coming to the end of our interview, man. And I'm just learning so much, and I'm actually enjoying this time with you now.
Yeah.
But I got two questions that I have to squeeze in, before I let you go. Um, I mean, like most of this conversation and most of what I've been learning about you, you've been like, you had to work, you had to break barriers and you had to like actually carve out an identity, not just for yourself, but for other people and for other young black men who are like you. And did you feel, I mean, with somebody who had to break a lot of barriers and even becoming a person who's an activist who's speaking about this and taking it to the next level, are there any adjustments that you had to actually make to fit in. And we had to be like, you know what? Okay, Sanele zero, industry one. We had to be like, any adjustments that you feel like you had to kind of make to like be comfortable or like do things because of you being a black man with albinism. Are there any adjustments that you feel like you kind of needed to make, apart
Yeah,
because you
I really felt that I kind of had to push I had to to continue, to I kind of had to I had to kind of play being black a lot. I felt like I kind of had to prove my blackness to people, which I personally feel like I delivered a fake facade of who I really am to people, because I'm trying to push this narrative. I'm just like, hey, I'm a black man, and you must accept me because I'm black. And I thought that I did that a lot, especially in my younger years. There was a lot of proving myself and
yeah.
trying to get people to listen to and to listen to my perspective, and not realizing that what I just kind of needed to do was just be myself. And I realized by just doing whatever I just attracted everyone. I attracted everyone by just rolling by myself, and I got an amazing set of friends that kind of helped me with my, like, now whenever when I'll be walking and people would stare, my friends are the first to like, yo, what's up?
A
What are
problem.
you doing over
A
here? They're
problem.
my personal bodyguards. Like my friends are the first to like. I even don't pay attention to people staring at me because like I've been having to stare since I was a kid, So I don't know. I don't even pay attention to them anymore. So, yeah, so I went through those. There's a lot of like trying to adjust and to fit in, especially also with there's also the modeling aspect of it. You have to, there's a whole culture when it comes to modeling, when it comes to season, the weight issues. So I have typical model problems too. Compare the comparison situation. Don't get trapped into that stuff, because you like Lunga has bigger muscles and pecs and all of that stuff, and I'm skinny. I'm size 20, 28, and then when you get to the buff stage, and then you go to a casting. Oh, you're too big. You need to shed something. You're never gonna please everyone. You're never gonna be the perfect weight for anyone. So you might as well just look at yourself naked, and you be like, if I look good. And if you feel good and you like what you see when you're naked, then you just sell that to people. I think your energy and just like how you are when you communicate with people, that's your selling point, and not trying to be someone that you're not. And I think by just doing that, that's how I fought that stuff of comparing people, by just kind of adjusting to industry norms.
Awesome, man. Well, Sanele brings me to my last question with you, bro. So this is the question that I ask all of my guests. I put you in a
Yeah.
time machine. I want to take you all the way back to the very, very young Sanele that decided, this is something I want to do. After you had your first experience at the Durban July and all of that, you were like, this is something that I can actually do. And you actually, this, like when you said, like when it clicked for you, like, I'm here for a reason. I'm here to speak to people. I'm here to break barriers. I'm here to like tell people and educate people about this. I want you of today, being the person that you are today, have walked the journey that you've walked. What advice, if I were to take you back to the very young Sanele starting, what advice would you give him?
Whew. Just believe in yourself. Like, believe in yourself more, and don't second guess yourself. Yeah, that's what I second guess myself a lot. I would always not trust my gut instincts. I would always try to play everything by the book. And then when things happen, I'm like, damn, I actually really thought of it this way. And then I was like, damn, I should listen to myself. And I had a lot of those experiences. Be it work, be it opportunities, be it I had a lot of those. So I just obviously tell myself to believe in myself more, and yeah, to continue having sheer grit and bullheadedness. Um, so that was literally what I would tell myself, just to continue doing what you really think in your heart and in your mind, and don't second guess yourself.
No, that's true. Yeah, like that is a powerful message because self-doubt is something that we wrestle with for a very, very long time. And sometimes it get the better of us, like you're saying. I mean, you will like your intuition will tell you should do this or you should say that or do this a bit different. And you're like, nah, you doubt yourself because you then the voices start to creep in and then you make these assumptions of
Yeah.
what other people are thinking and saying, and then you start to adjust, and then you do something that you're not even proud of, and then, like you say, you just end up being like, I should have just done that, or I just should have just followed
I
my
should have
heart.
just done that.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
So I get it. Now that's a powerful message, man. Just believe in yourself and be yourself. Sanele, thank you so much for being a guest on The Price of Fame. We've learned so much from you tonight. Thank you for sharing so much of yourself and also just being so easy and very educative. Is that a word? Educative? Being a teacher.
We're not in school, yeah. This is popcorn style. We're having conversations.
But so much for your time, man, and just like being yourself and like sharing all of that knowledge with us. Is there anything else that you would love to say before I let you go?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the many things that I have delved into right now is you know um um is I have a project with the Road Sleeve Outreach Program where we are trying to provide children who are visually impaired with spectacles. So that is a drive that I'm trying to do, and I have a lot of partners. So, like, if you any business people who wanna, hop on board, we have a lot of people on board. So, like, yeah, people are listening and they wanna hop on board to the project. It's really dope. We're trying to ensure that people, children in special needs schools who are visually impaired have prescription glasses. I believe that everyone has a right to perfect sight, and a lot of children cannot afford spectacles. I change these every year, and to know that someone doesn't have the luxury of having prescription glasses, don't have any aids to help them to see the board and stuff, it's kind of heartbreaking. So a lot of companies and organizations are hop on board to help with this initiative, something that I'm really passionate about. And the Road Sleeve Outreach Program was initially to help children in children's homes who don't have study aids and stationery and stuff. But I think as you grow older, you realize the need for other needs and stuff. And what I can obviously do is, hop on and raise these funds. A lot of companies have hopped on board who Luxottica, Ray-Ban, and all of these guys. And yeah, but if there's any brands, things, and yeah, that's more important. And to kids listening, stay in school. I know it's a very cliche. Stay in school. Don't quit. Don't quit matric because you want to be a model. I kid you not.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Finish school, juggle. Rather just juggle modeling and your school and career, and just drink lots of coffee if you're gonna do that. And God will see you through everything else.
How about just finish school and follow your dreams, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Make sure if you are able to do both, do it. Put 110% in both your dreams and your studies, and you'll be great.
Absolutely. Sanele,
Yeah.
please, can you share with the viewers that who are not following you just yet and just learned about you today? Can you please share with some of your social platforms where we can follow your journey, where we can find out more about the foundation that you're working with and on those things, and where people can actually, just get some links where if there's potential people would like to do some donations or whatever, or get onto the movement that you're doing with the prescription glasses. So please, can you just drop all your social handles right now?
Yeah. It's Sanele _Xaba on Instagram. I'm very bad with social media. I'm gonna add that. I'm very bad at social media, but I try to communicate as much as I can with people. But Sanele _Xaba on Instagram. It's the official Sanele Junior Xaba on Facebook. That is my public page, and it's Sanele Junior, Sanele Xaba Junior _ for Twitter. But I'm more active on Instagram and my Facebook platform. I do not have TikTok, and I do not aim on having TikTok. Inside the same print NL is for if you guys want to donate to inside the same basically provides sunscreen, provides books to abandoned and vulnerable children with albinism in Tanzania. So these are kids who have been abandoned by their parents, who are vulnerable in a vulnerable state. There's a house run by a nun, and she takes care of the kids, and so funds will go towards toys, books, and yeah, it's inside the same on Instagram and on Facebook. And you may donate today. I will be posting on my socials links on as we are working with government into making this an initiative. So so I will be posting links about how everyone can get involved in the drive to ensure that the less fortunate have access to prescription glasses. So thank you so much.
My man, you are a superhero.
Yes.
Keep
now I'm just trying to do my part.
Yeah, saving the world and stuff, making some light, on the forgotten people, man. So I'm appreciative of that, man. And may the Lord bless you, and you just be abundantly blessed on your journey, and just go from strength to strength and strength to strength. You are carrying the weight, and you're carrying the light for a lot of people that you don't know, people that you haven't met yet, but you are carrying the weight for a lot of people. So just know that when you're doing your thing, and you are a very strong being. And yeah, man, I wish you all the best. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you.
Yo, man, thank you so much for giving us your time and spending time and being a guest on The Price of Fame. I have to let you go now. My producer's going to kill me for going over time. But thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you for having me.
Cool, man. Have a good night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, there you heard it from Sanele himself. Please go and help him support his initiative. As you can see, I am not educated and clued up on all of these things, and I'm sure a lot of people learned a lot tonight as well. So let's do a little bit of research. There are some forgotten people that need our help, and sometimes it's as small as a like and a share, or even just a small donation if you can. So ladies and gentlemen, let's hop onto that. Let's help South Africa. Let's help our pioneers build a better South Africa, and also let's make the South African industry the best supported by local, because local talent is lekker talent. Ladies and gentlemen, like I say, if you're watching this for the very first time, thank you for tuning in tonight. If you want to support me and find out more about my movement, about my Price of Fame shows and all of that, you can find me at Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. That is on Facebook, which is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. On Instagram, you can find me at Lunga Tshuka for exclusive interviews of the Price of Fame, and the link to my YouTube page where you can get all the other interviews. You can check on my Instagram page, that is The Price of Fame ZA. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lunga Tshuka. I've been your host. This is The Price of Fame.